And joining us now is a University of Windsor graduate, also played in the CFL for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And we're going to find out more about his story. Frank Renaud joining us now. Good morning, Frank.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Frank, thanks for getting up for us. We really appreciate it.
It's kind of early, man. Did you have to set the alarm this morning?
Yeah, I mean, I try to get up usually this early, if not earlier in the morning.
Oh, good for you.
Get my day started. So, yeah, it was like normal, I suppose.
Oh, good. Whatever normal is at this hour of the morning, right? Well, let's talk about what an important day this is, Bell Let's Talk Day. And Frank, you've got your own battles with mental illness that kind of cropped up when you were about 19 or 20 or maybe even earlier in your life. Tell us your story and how you discovered and perhaps sought out some help. What age were you?
Well, it all kind of started when I was in high school. And it just started, I was getting a lot of feelings in my body. I was getting this feeling in my gut and this unsettled, I want to call it like a twisting, gut-wrenching feeling just in my chest. And I was uncomfortable about it. I told my mom, and she wasn't sure, so I went to the doctor, and I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression. And so at that point, it wasn't anything crazy, so we just kind of said, monitor it, see how it goes, and we'll go from there. And so it really started there, and things didn't really start getting amplified until I got to university. When I got to university, I had this stressful experiences and spoke with my mom a bit, and we went to the doctor, and he said, okay, so you have anxiety, and I'm going to give you some medication to kind of sort this out. And so gave me some medication. Things were working out. Everything was good. And, as a teenager would, because we were rebellious and never listened to anybody, I didn't do the medication thing anymore. And I stepped off, which was fine.
Was the medication working for you at the time, but you just stopped taking it, or was it not working anyway?
It wasn't quite working, and I also just it wasn't something that I valued. It wasn't something that to me was effective in my lifestyle at the time. So I just didn't see the point. And I mean, it wasn't really something that was explained to me. I wasn't on par with what the value of the medication was. So it just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense for me. And so that was kind of that. And when it really amplified was actually, it's a beautiful experience. And everything that happened to me in my life was a beautiful experience because it led me to this moment. But I was playing in a football game. It was in my second or third year. It must have been in my third year playing football. I was playing against Guelph, and we had a great game, and we ended up winning in the fourth quarter. I'd stripped the ball from the running back, and we ended up going on to win the game from that. And what happened during that game, I cannot make this up. I was not in my body during that entire football game.
Something different happened.
It was different.
Yeah.
Yes. I was out of my body. I was watching myself play the game from a TV. It was nuts. And I can't even make this up. The game finished, and I kind of came back into my body, and I felt so numb and tired. I had the best game of my career, probably top 5, but I didn't have the energy anymore. And so I was like, okay, I got to talk to somebody about this because I don't know what just happened, but
you knew something was going on.
Is that when you got your bipolar diagnosis?
No, that happened later. Actually, that happened when I was 25 in university.
Okay, let's go to there then. When you get bipolar, and bipolar is something that a lot of people deal with, and that's basically a mental illness, and you get extreme shifts in mood, correct?
Okay, so it's described as experiencing. So to be diagnosed, that's my cat. She's interested in this interview as well. as described in the medical clinical diagnosis of bipolar, you must have been diagnosed with depression and experienced a manic episode. So the overall diagnosis of bipolar is not like a quick shift from like I'm happy to I'm angry. It's under the clinical definition of the diagnosis is that you've experienced depression or been diagnosed with depression and you experience a documented manic episode. So it's, in my experience of the bipolar diagnosis, it's really, from what I've experienced in it, everybody experiences some kind of story that, if documented, could be diagnosed as bipolar.
And you have been known to say that you kind of look at your diagnosis as a gift. So tell us in just like the 2 minutes we have left here, how that has changed your life and how you've dealt with it moving forward.
Yeah, so I see it as a gift because now it provides me a handy tool to say that I've been battle tested. As I share more and talk more about this and do all the cool things that I get to do, what happens is that when people are in that dark corner where they feel depressed and suicidal, they often say, and I know because I was there, they say, you don't know what I've been through. And now I can say, well, yeah, I do. I was dealing with depression and suicide. I was diagnosed with bipolar. I don't know exactly what you're going through. What I do know is that I know the overarching story of what you're going through, and I can support you and provide you tools to get out of that rut.
Frank Renaud's joining us this morning, former CFL player, played for the Blue Bombers, University of Windsor graduate. So when you finally did get help and you got back on your feet, are you still there? Is this something you still battle every day?
Well, I wouldn't even call it a battle. I embrace my darkness as a part of my life, and it teaches me something beautiful about my light. I recognize that everything happens for a reason, and there was things that I had to see and overcome so I could discover my strength. As I continue to move forward in my life, I always remind myself that every dark day never lasts, and everything that was put in front of me was for me to face and overcome. And that's me being on the other side of many battles, but I recognize that battles never end. It's a part of the journey, and I embrace it fully.
Wow. Thanks for joining us, Frank. I love your story. Frank Renaud. By the way, he now owns a moving company called Rent a Brother and is helping people, moving around the city. It's great. And also a passionate mental health advocate, as you can hear. And we thank him for sharing his story. I think the more people, young people, hear about perhaps their sport heroes or whoever they put on a pedestal dealing with their own issues and mental illness and overcoming it, I mean, that's really a positive message.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks to Frank Renaud for joining us this morning. We'll have more. It is Bell Let's Talk Day. Tell you more about that all morning long here on AM 800.